Okay, there we go. I was like, come on, stream delay, you're making me look like a liar here. But alright, everybody, welcome to a double header. Not really a double header, because they're taking place at the same time, but welcome to a double race in our Metroid Fusion 100% tournament. Today we have, for your viewing pleasure, I need to double check how these match up, we have Toby versus PhazonKnight and JaySee versus nextgengamer. And right off the bat, we're going to start off with The Climb. Series of wall jumps. Toby and Phazon getting in cleanly. JaySee seems to have suddenly had a controller failure. Is he okay? nextgengamer getting a little bit of trouble with the last part, but finishing it off. And they're both on the way to the first of several talkie sections with the computer, because the computer gets very lonely and has no one else to talk to aside from Samus, who doesn't respond. It sounds like an awkward conversation if you ask me. But not much going on now. Something has gone horribly wrong at the Biologic Space Lab station, so we're all going to go figure out what it is, and oh no, explosions. We're going to kill a single enemy and then go talk to the computer some more. But anyways, already at this point we're going to start to see some movement tech. You see that Samus can grab ledges and climb. And you're also going to see a lot of trying to minimize the number of times you hit platforms, because jumping is slower than running, and if you land while jumping, you come to a complete stop. So if you can turn 2 jumps into 1 jump, that'll generally save you some time. And you're also going to start seeing another thing, that when you do a somersault jump, if you shoot to break out of it before you land, you actually hit the ground and start running a few frames faster. So you're saving yourself a little bit of time there. And over the course of the entire run, and you get good at it, it'll save you a not insignificant amount of time. So these little movement tricks will add up over the course of the run. You're going to see that someone whose movement is a lot cleaner will start slowly pulling ahead of someone who isn't. Also, wall jumps. You can see Toby and Phazon both doing them to start climbing up to get the missile upgrade. Unlike Super Metroid, though, the wall jumps here in Fusion launch you away from the walls, so you cannot single wall jump, but there are a few spots where it's still useful for climbing faster. Oh my goodness, there is so much talking in this game. Yeah, now the computer is saying, hey, you need missiles, because what is a Metroid game without missiles? The answer is, well, not much of a Metroid game. Also, you will see on Toby's screen, now we have some monologuing on the world's slowest elevators. And everyone else out there, tell me, listen to these elevators. Doesn't that tone just sound sad? Like these elevators they're just really sad elevators. Almost like they're crying. It's okay, elevator. But anyways, now we're come across one of the major differences between Fusion and older Metroids is that in this game you don't use Chozo statues to get items. You basically go to Pirate Bay and download your upgrades. And you see here on Toby and Phazon's screens, they're logging into the internet and downloading missiles. Yes, you would, in fact, download a missile. 10 of them, in fact. We're going to be getting a lot more before this is over. And since we keep hanging around this dialogue box, this is a great time to talk about something else that makes this game different from other Metroids, the event system. The computer kind of connects different events and sequences in this game, which means basically you can't get certain power-ups, you can't advance the story or go to certain areas until the event flags are set. Which unfortunately means this game is a lot more linear than some other Metroids, at least until you get to cleanup, which is very late game. So unfortunately, you don't get to see fancy sequence breaks or alternate order bosses, not in Fusion. In fact, you pick up weapon upgrades before you get the weapon, the game won't even let you use them. Not that you're going to be seeing that here in 100%. It's one of those things where we got them, we hoped it would work, and it didn't. And the other thing about Fusion is it's a little bit more RNG heavy than Zero Mission. You see on Toby's screen, he's facing off against the eye door, and so is PhazonKnight. The eye doors can either show you the pupil, or they can shoot a beam at you. But unfortunately, you have to get 3 missiles in the eye, which means if you get a bunch of beams, it's going to slow you down. And you can actually get up to 4 beams between vulnerables, which means that right now where we have to take 3 shots, you can have up to 16 beams, and that's pretty nasty. Although, ooh, JaySee looks like you got a double missile. You can actually get 2 missiles at the same time to reduce the number of rounds, and that's always good. Oh my gosh. It's Arachnus. We haven't seen him since Metroid 2. What all the racers are hoping to see is Arachnus not rolling. Next Gen did get the roll, which is unfortunate, because that definitely slows you down. Just pump missiles into him until he turns into... Oh, 2 rolls for Next Gen. That's really unfortunate. Toby having a good fight. PhazonKnight having a pretty good fight. Now Next Gen is setting up for the Core X. JaySee having a great fight, so he's already caught up to Next Gen. And you're also going to see them trying to jump up and get the Core X to fly at them high in the room. That's because a Core X actually has a square hitbox. So, if you fire 2 missiles close to each other and it flies into them at the same time with its square hitbox, it counts as a double hit, and you don't have to worry about those invincibility frames, which allows you to kill it faster. Which is always good, because especially later on when the Core X's have take more hits, you want to be getting those double missiles. On top of that, I didn't see Next Gen get it, and I don't know if anyone else got it, but next time someone does it, I'll point it out. The Core X, once you kill the core, will actually fly to a spot in the center of the room. That's the part where you can pick it up. If you kill it right on top of the spot where it'll be picked up, you can pick it up immediately instead of having it float toward it slowly. That's called Sweet Spot. And the difference between having a sloppy Core X fight and getting double missiles and Sweet Spot is multiple seconds, so it can make a huge difference in a run, and especially in a race. So they're all going to be going for as many of those as possible. Meanwhile, on Toby's screen, we're going to have the big bad show up here. Oh no. It's another Samus. Or is it? It's a Samus wearing contacts who hates doors. Oh god, that poor door. What did it ever do to you? And Toby even left it open. What a jerk. Yeah, alright. In any case, Rasu, I know you're in here, so when you get a chance, please pop in. I'm doing my best to keep up with 4 races, but it's difficult.
I'm still trying to eat my Waffle House, but...
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that, my bad.
I'll start talking when I'm done, sorry.
Alright. Oh, no worries, no worries. I'll hold it down for a bit. So, anyways, everyone's on their way to Sector 1, which is the SR-388 sector, which is kind of funny considering we're orbiting that planet, but hey, whatever. The first big thing that's going on here are the X have infested the giant fans. I never remember what they're called. They're environmental doodads. And basically, we have to go to see those square rooms on the map on Toby's screen, and now on PhazonKnight's screen? There are 6 of them around. You have to go to all of them, and you have to blow up those weird X fan things. Takes 3 missiles or a charge shot. Oh, did I just spoil we're about to get the charge beam? Because we are in this sector. But in the meantime, we're going to do the rounds, go around the sector, and get them in the most optimal order to make our way toward the next boss, which also will give us charge beam. In the meantime, even though this is 100%, and 100%, you really don't have to worry about health, missiles, or otherwise items later on. But this sector, first visit to Sector 1 is the only time that you're really going to have to be keeping your eye on your missile count. Because there are a lot of things you need missiles for, especially before you get the charge beam. You need them to get the atmospheric stabilizers to take 3 missiles. You need to deal with the X-Pirates. You can't kill them with beam, you have to use missiles. And it makes going through certain rooms a lot faster, because with your weak beam, it would take multiple shots, but only 1 missile to kill enemies. So, you have to keep a very close eye on missiles, because if you run out of them, because you'll often run, if you're not careful, you'll run out of them when you get to the climb with the pirates, you're in a really bad spot, because you can't kill them, and they'll knock you off the platform, so you're going to be seeing a lot of very careful and, I just forgot the word I was looking for, very intentional movements and shots. Everything is very precise during this first Sector 1 visit.
Seems like JaySee is in the lead. I don't know what happened to Next Gen. He had like a 20 or 30 second advantage.
Yeah, the JaySee got double missile on the first eye door, and then he had a very good Arachnus fight. Next Gen got 2 rolls, and had some trouble setting up the double missile. But speaking of bosses and eye doors, Toby is only a couple rooms away from the next one here. And this also marks the last time we have to worry about having to hit the door 3 separate times, because once you get the charge beam, everything changes. You only need to get the vulnerable anything once. So we have a setup here. You'll see him stand on the ledge to try to get the double missile. But unfortunately, he's getting some bad I-beam luck here. 3. Oh, goodness. Oh, he gets the double. And just like that, only 2 rounds instead of 3. Good recovery from Toby. And that's not really a Chozo statue, that is a core beam X. These are a little bit different. These have a vulnerable spot that you can only hit when the little eye opens on it. And you see him, oh, beautiful double there from Toby. You saw him jump on the ceiling and shoot down. He was basically firing his missiles to time them to double missile into the eye, which is a little bit harder than it looks. But he pulls it off without a problem. And it normally takes 4 rounds, but he did it in 2. That's the power of double missiles. And it looks like JaySee is going to be trying to get the sweet spot instead. You see him flying around that pillar. That's about where it spawns when you kill it, so... Oh, doesn't quite get it, though. Let's see if PhazonKnight gets it. Usually what you'll see is if someone gets a double and misses the second double, then they'll go for the sweet spot instead to offset the time lost from missing the second double. And Next Gen is working on that eye door before he tries himself. Not going for the double on the door, which is fine. The double on that second door is a little bit rough. Oh, but you look on PhazonKnight's screen now, you're going to see a trick here where take a hit to clip through the atmospheric stabilizer and hit it with a charge beam. Because that's actually the charge beam's big party trick in this game. The charge beam is way better than missiles, unlike Zero Mission where missiles are your friend and charge beam sucks. Because the charge beam does 2 things. First of all, it's actually 2 shots in one. At least the base version here is. Like, for example, if you see the beam hit an enemy and part of it will keep flying past, that's because only part of it hit. So if you have a fully charged shot and you hit with both of them, that's, let's say, 20 damage. And then on top of that, you'll notice when you fire a charge shot, there's a little flash near Samus's arm. That also does damage, an additional, I think, 6 damage. So if you hit an enemy right up close with the full charge beam and the flash, it does a lot of damage. It does more damage than 3. It does as much damage as 3 missiles, in fact. Which is why we can use that now. From here on out, we can use that for the eye doors. You don't have to worry about 3 rounds anymore. And on top of that, we're going to use that flash to completely murder some bosses later. So look forward to that when we get into Sector 4. But in the meantime, all 4 of our racers have totally managed to fix Sector 1. Everything is better now, right? No more troubles, right? Oh, who are we kidding? There's more trouble, but now we have to go to Sector 2, the tropical sector. But anyways, as you'll tend to notice that for every little event section between computer conversations, usually we acquire an upgrade, either through getting a Core X or from the Galactic Federation emailing it to us and us downloading it directly into our brain, or however the heck the fusion suit works. But in any case, we have learned on Toby's screen that there is an X-Parasite-infested version of ourselves. Our old power suit from Super Metroid with all the bells and whistles. And it's trying to kill us because it doesn't like us, because it hates Metroids, because the X hates Metroids. And they gave it the very smooth jazz name SAX, which I always abbreviate as Sax because it just kind of rolls off the tongue better and makes me think of Careless Whisper. But in any case, it's time for Sector 2. The big gimmick here is, well, the big recurring gimmick is we have to unlock the level 2 doors, the blue doors, because they're preventing us from getting to the data room to get the bomb power-up. But we don't know where it is because it can't be marked on the map, so... Well, we do actually know where it is, which is why we're going to be seeing everyone heading straight to it. In Sector 2, the big concern we have at this point are those red slug things. I can never remember their name, but hitting them does 45 damage to you, so you don't want to be running into them a lot. Thankfully, we have a couple of tricks at our disposal. We're going to see it here on JaySee's screen in a bit. We're going to see it on Mandatoby's screen as he runs back through. The charge beam has a cool feature to it. If you start holding a charge as you pass through a door, when you come out the other end, you'll automatically have a full charge. You'll see JaySee do it here to blow up the first guy, and then use 2 missiles to take out the second one. Just like that, very smooth. Charge beam is extremely useful, but that diagonal down double missile can be a little bit tricky, because you have to fire the first one sooner than you think. But yeah, we're going to be taking advantage of the charge beam through the door trick quite a bit. Because the other cool thing about it is, so basically, think about it this way. If you start going through a door and you start charging, and the screen turns black, and then you let go, you will both get a full charge, and then release that shot, fire it on the first frame available as you come out the other side. Which sounds kind of silly, but in a couple of cases we're going to be using it. It's very useful for opening some of those shot gates, and also for, in some cases, just shooting enemies before we have to worry about them. In the meantime, looks like Toby's gotten the bombs, and PhazonKnight's on his way there. JaySee has the bombs, and Next Gen is on his way to unlock the door, so everyone's kind of in slightly different spots of Sector 2, but everyone's slowly moving forward and working their way toward the next major goal. Which has just slipped my mind, but don't worry, it'll come to us in a moment. But it's a great time to talk about bombs here, because bombs in this game are a disappointment. They make me very sad. Because look on Mandatoby's screen, he's trying to blast those bombs. Those bombs take forever to explode. You could probably chip away at those blocks faster by just jumping up and down them until they wear down. Which, aside from being just slow to move around, also means you can't bomb jump in this game. At least not nearly as effectively as you could in Super Metroid or in Zero Mission. There's a couple of spots where you can kind of fake it by doing a JBJ, which is you jump, you put the bomb, then you jump back up and morph again. But you're not really going to see it in this run. It's very situational, and you're not really going to see it in Hundo here. Yeah, but meanwhile, you notice that JaySee and PhazonKnight had taken a couple hits from those red slugs, and actually, JaySee's taken several hits. Like I said, they do 45 damage, so you take 2 hits, you're already almost completely drained an energy tank. You gotta be careful in this first visit to Sector 2. It's very easy if you're sloppy with your with enemies to take a lot of damage. All right.
Alright, I'm back.
Alright, welcome back. You're just in time. Toby's about to hit the eye door for Sazabi here. And everyone else is making progress pretty steadily.
JaySee's in danger of dying.
Yeah, he's been taking running into enemies a lot.
I think one of these pancakes could kill him if he hits him.
Yep, just like that. Oh no, JaySee.
Please continue.
Come on, JaySee, come on, continue. It's early enough you can still make a comeback. Did he just...
Oh, he's gonna forfeit.
Oh, JaySee, no! Wait, no, he's not.
Okay,
he's just restarting his timer, okay. Okay, this is a long enough run that JaySee can very much still come back if he has a clean second attempt.
Yeah, I don't know how close JaySee and Next Gen are in terms of PBs, but if JaySee is considerably faster, he may be able to catch up. I mean, he did catch up 30 seconds just a while ago, so it might be possible for him to keep the race close later on.
Yeah. Not to mention that the RNG is on his side and not on Next Gen's side. That could make up a lot of time.
Or Next Gen could die if he tries the sack skip coming up.
Oh god. Next Gen is doing pretty well at keeping track of his health, but it seems just at a glance that his movement doesn't seem quite as clean as JaySee. So I think that just on movement alone, JaySee can make up some time after this restart. So I don't think we're going to be seeing a sack skip from Next Gen. Although he might surprise me, you never know.
Something like this happened, I think last week, where it was Scotty versus... I can't remember the name. Might have been PhazonKnight, where Scotty died trying to do sack skip, but managed to catch up at the very end. And
that's right, I saw that race. That was
lost by like, I don't know, 20 seconds or something like that.
No, I think it was Scotty versus Paulsmore. I think, because Paul's got the hover glitch on Omega.
No, Paulsmore would have destroyed Scotty if he had died.
Maybe it wasn't...
I think it was PhazonKnight or somebody else.
Was it?
Yeah. So anything's possible. Next Gen could have the worst luck from now on, and JaySee could have the best luck from now on, and he might be able to catch up.
Speaking of luck, Speaking of luck, NextGen is currently fighting Sazabi, who can hop a whole bunch of times or not very many times because you can't really control how many times he jumps until he opens up his weak spot like that.
Yeah, he can jump a total of 12. Oh, PhazonKnight managing to get the sack skip with no problems. But Sazabi could jump for a total of 12 times, making your run very aggravating. I didn't really count the number of jumps that NextGen had, but it seemed like it was a lot.
He did manage to get sweet spot, though. I've mentioned it a couple of times, but you saw it right there. He blew up the Core X and was immediately able to pick it up, which is something you definitely want to see as much as possible. I don't know about you, but I've had enough of Sector 2. I think it's time to go on a beach vacation to Sector 4, which is convenient because that's where we're headed. Alright, now let's watch NextGen. He is... I don't think he's going to be going for sack skip, so he's doing the safe strat. I don't blame him.
It's a good idea. I don't know if NextGen's watching the race, but if he was watching the race, then letting Sax get through the room was a good idea. It's no point in trying to risk it when you are already like 15 minutes ahead.
Yeah. And yeah, for those of you watching, if you're learning this game, sack skip seems daunting, which it kind of is. The easy strat is stand against the left wall. When the sax shoots the door to open it, start running right, and you'll make it to the door right after it leaves without being spotted. It's fine.
For those of you who are just watching, JC did die in Sector 2. He took way too many hits from Zoros. Like Crunchy mentioned earlier, Zoros do tons of damage, 45 damage per hit. And having only 3 E-tanks in Sector 2, it's not really a lot of wiggle room. So you still have to make sure that you get through the Zoros without getting hit, or bad things will happen.
Yes, especially early on in this game, even in 100%, where you're going to be becoming extremely overpowered by the end, it's very easy to die if you start getting sloppy with your movement and taking a lot of hits. But meanwhile, Toby is starting to make his way toward the next boss, while Phazon is heading into Sector 4, which... Here's your fun trivia fact. Sector 4 is the only sector where the elevator opens to the left into the navigation room instead of to the right. And the big gimmick here is electrified water. The water, for some reason, has broken wires in it, so you have to lower the water level so that, I don't know, nothing seems to be happening, but I guess we just need to do it because we are the electricians now. Meanwhile, JC getting the first double on the Arachnus core, and... yeah, making short work of it. But yeah, remember me talking about the charge beam, how the charge beam is really good in this game? We are about to see the poster child for the charge beam being good here in a moment, which is the fight with Ceres, the hyper-fast speed booster worm. The gimmick of that...
Ceres Space Station?
No, not quite. One of these days I need to see if I can figure out what they expect the official pronunciation for these bosses to be, because otherwise it's just inconvenient. But no, normally it takes you multiple rounds of shooting it and then being invincible with speed booster. But if you get 2 charge shots with the flare, it only takes 2 rounds. The first hit is free, as you're going to see Toby here do on the left of the monkey bars. That first hit is free, and then you have to kind of judge based on how it's moving to anticipate where it's going to be to get that second hit. So let's see if Toby can get that 2 round. And what a great Ceres fight. It gets the 2 round. And let's see if we get those doubles. Doesn't get the first one. I think he got the second double.
He got the second, but he missed the last one. So it's just a single double there.
Yeah. Oh, didn't quite get sweet spot though, although it looked like it should have worked, but didn't quite.
If you noticed, and it's coming up on PhazonKnight's screen here, the Ceres that they fought was not the real Ceres. It's in fact a clone. of Ceres. And as you can see here, there's the real Ceres, all bony and skeleton-like. PhazonKnight making sure that he is really dead.
Yeah, that's the big thing of the X's, is that they basically eat and absorb the knowledge and everything of things they consume, and then they can replicate it. So let's see if PhazonKnight can have a good Ceres fight as well. And we get to hear the Jam and Ceres music as well, since we're using PhazonKnight's audio.
Oh yeah, dude, Sour, please. I don't think he got the close-up shot on the first round.
Here, it didn't look like it. Yeah, nope. Just should be able to get the 3 round though. Oh, and he gets a good setup. Oh, it takes a bit longer than we had hoped. He's getting good patterns though, so he knows exactly where to be to get this shot, and gets a 3 round.
Having difficulty getting the doubles here.
Yeah. This is one of those ones where, in my experience, learning the double setup is surprisingly tricky, but once you get it, it's not as bad as it looks. Although it's still easy to screw it up if you're not quite positioning right.
Yeah, and you save so much time getting doubles. You have to do them so many times against different bosses and charge cores, arena weapon cores. So I think mastering the double is one of like the first things to do when you're speedrunning this game, because it saves so much time.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, though, you have to master it multiple times because missile upgrades add all sorts of wrinkles to that. But I think we can probably talk about that when we get to the first missile upgrade.
Yep, so if you're just tuning in, Mandatoby has a humongous lead over the other 3 runners. PhazonKnight is second, Next Gen is third, and JaySee is last. However, they're not racing each other. It is in fact 2 separate races. The top left and top right are racing each other, and the bottom left and bottom right are racing each other.
Yep, and JaySee is quite far behind to Next Gen because he took a death about 17 minutes in. But this is not a short run, so it's not outside the realm of possibility for JaySee to make a comeback. So we'll see what happens with that.
Next Gen missing the opportunity for the 2 cycle. Oh, and that was not a full charge beam in the head, so he's gonna have to do 1 more cycle here.
Oh, yes. Ceres is one of those fights where if you get it right, it's so fast, and if a couple things go wrong, it just becomes an enormous time waste, which is really unfortunate, especially almost 30 minutes into a race like this.
Yeah, the more mistakes Next Gen.
Oh.
He dumps into the water.
Oh no, Next Gen.
Yeah, if he keeps making mistakes, it will definitely allow JaySee to catch up.
Yeah. Thankfully, in 100%, you don't have to worry about dying here, but if you're playing casually, you don't have that much health and get knocked into the water here, that Corex can actually kill you. I've seen it happen.
Yeah, it's fairly easy to manipulate the Corex's movement. That is, if you are not underwater. I don't know if anyone even knows how to deal with Corex underwater, because you don't ever do it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the speed strat for dealing with the Corex underwater is don't fall in the water.
Yeah. So, like, if you were playing, any percent or something, or you didn't have as much E-tanks, you'd probably run the risk of dying simply by being underwater with the Corex.
It's true. But meanwhile, Next Gen is on his way to lower the water level. Phazon is on his way to Sector 3, and Toby has already unlocked the green doors. So he's on his way to the data room to pick up super missiles. One of my favorite upgrades. One of the things that makes me saddest about this game is the fact that missiles are not that great in this game, but by God, missiles make the most satisfying explosion sounds, and the supers shake the screen when they explode. It's just, oh, it's so cathartic to hit things with them.
Yeah, and you'll see like much later on the difference between the charge beam and the missile when it comes to fighting bosses. I think there's only one, or actually two bosses in which you would prefer to use missiles over, actually three, in which you'd prefer to use missiles over charge, and that's because you're trying to get volume over, strength of your damage, and you'll see them later. But right now, the main goal is to use your beam to kill the bosses.
Yeah, the beam is your most commonly used weapon in this game. It's just really good in Fusion. Especially once you start getting upgrades like Plasma. Holy cow.
Oh yeah, and once you get Plasma and Wave Beam, just forget about your missiles. It's you don't need them anymore.
You really don't. Unless you have a missile block, in which case the game is just trying to make sure that the missiles get to play too.
Okay, I didn't see the PhazonKnight already broke the speed booster box there, which is a viable strat, but optimally you would want to get the missile first and then break the blocks in a way that you have room to do your Shine Spark up.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that. Normally that's not the way you see folks do that room.
So Mandatoby had some issues fighting with Box there, and it was not the optimal fight. As you saw, it took Box a long time to get to his spot there where he jumps up. Normally, you would want to kill Box to the right, as close to the right as possible, so that you minimize his movement, his really slow crawl before he jumps. Mandatoby unfortunately was not able to do that, but he does still have a very large lead, so I don't think that's something that he's worried about right now if he's watching.
Well, we'll see though, because the box is one of those fights where if it goes badly you can lose a lot of time, but if it goes well then you can gain back quite a few seconds. So I'm not sure. I imagine Phazon knows the optimal strat to minimize the box's walk of shame before it jumps to the ceiling.
So it's the return of Sector 2 for JaySee. Hopefully things go well this time around. If not, then he's going to have to suffer a 32-minute lead.
Oh my goodness.
But I hope that JaySee is able to get through. JaySee is a 0% runner, and he's only one of 3 0% runners. So health management should be like second nature to JaySee. I think he's kind of really happy with the fact that he has more than 99 health, and he's just like, hit me, everything, and then realize that he's low.
He's just jumping for joy so much he doesn't realize there are things above him he shouldn't be jumping into.
Yeah. Yeah, there are only 3 0% runners, Hercules, Bench Press, JaySee, and JRP, because 0% is really difficult for this game. Like,
yeah,
a lot of the enemies in this game just destroy you on first hit. Most notably the Key Hunters and the fish in Underwater Sector 4, where they just they kill you in one shot. So JaySee should know how to manage his health well here. But as the race goes on, he'll have so many E-tanks that he won't even care about it.
Yeah, usually after Sector 6 when you get various suits, that's around the spot you generally can stop worrying about health.
Yeah.
Speaking of Sector 6 and the various suit, Toby is entering Sector 6 now and heading down to get the various suit. Oh my gosh, you have people in 3 different sectors. This is a bit of an adventure. But the big gimmick in Sector 6 is those blue X's you see flying around. They have entered here from Sector 5, the Arctic sector, and since Samus is now part Metroid, Ice and Metroids don't mix, so you don't want to be touching those. Thankfully, you can shoot them to stun them, and also, thankfully, the rooms you have to pass through to get to the various suit don't really have that many of them in there. So don't have to worry about that too much, because they're always in the same spots, so you can always easily deal with them. All right, let's see how. Oh, for some reason I thought Next Gen was about to go fight Box. He's not quite there yet.
All right, JC has enough health this time around.
Oh yeah, he's doing a lot better on health.
He should not die to the pancakes in this room here.
They're just angry that he doesn't like breakfast. It's the most important meal of the day, you know. God.
Well, you know, I just had breakfast, some Waffle House. It's really good. I think JC should collect some of these pancakes and make some pancakes for himself. Mandatoby picking up a few more missile tanks here, and then he'll be heading on to Megacore X, which is a pretty interesting fight.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and for those of you who may have done 100% casual, you may notice there's a couple of spots where there are power-ups that we could have gotten, but we don't get. Well, I guess, that they don't get, rather. That's because we're going to be passing through these areas again during cleanup, and getting them with the later movement items is a bit faster. So if you see us miss something, don't worry. They haven't forgotten. They're just going to get it later when it's faster. At least we hope so.
Mandatoby having issues controlling the Megacore X, but he does get the 4-shot, which is the faster way to do it. He missed the second double, missed the third double. Okay, so he gets 2 doubles. Pretty good fight for Mandatoby. We'll see PhazonKnight heading there, and we'll see how he does for Megacore X.
Toby's reward for that is getting the ugliest suit in Metroid history.
I think that you should put that suit in a Smash Brothers Samus Fusion Varia suit.
I got nothing. I'd rather they didn't.
With those broad shoulders, it looked really good.
Oh god, you mean the Fusion Varia suit colors on her normal suit? That would look, oh lord. Meanwhile, we didn't talk about it, but PhazonKnight's about to deal with the SAX again. You're supposed to wait for it to walk past you, but it turns out you let it walk a little bit, then you shoot it. It just jumps over you, and you can just run ahead of it, which is faster than waiting for it to saunter along. No particular hurry, the jerk.
Yeah, interestingly, the way SAX acts in this game is that if she has to fall down from a platform, she will jump off of it instead of just fall off. So we kind of use that to our advantage there, allowing her to jump over Samus and onto the other side.
Yeah, but the trick about that is if you shoot it immediately before it starts walking, it'll just shoot diagonally down at you, and you don't want that.
Yeah.
I think we saw Racer die to that once in this tournament, if memory serves. Or at the very least, take a almost die to it. Because at this point in the game, the SAX can and will kill you if you're not careful.
So PhazonKnight able to control the Megacore X and gets a perfect fight from it. However, he was not able to get the first double. And is having issues controlling the Core X there. He's trying to set up the double, but he's luring the Core X too low. So it's going to be a 6-shot Core X for him.
It's always a little bit tricky because you want to get the doubles, but at the same time you have to judge whether or not you're taking too much time to do the setup. Because at that point, just do the 2 single hits if you're going to be taking 10 seconds to set up the next double. So, learning to control the Core X is very important. And a fun little gameplay tidbit here you see on Phazon's screen. Not the falling, that was unfortunate, but the blue Core X's are still coming at you because, you know, they're trying to hurt you from the inside. But that's the only screen where they do that, because now that they realize they can't hurt you anymore, even on that screen, all the blue Core X's for the rest of the game will be trying to avoid you. Which is a little minor touch, but one of the things about this game that I really like, that even without having the computer talk to you about it, there's a lot of little subtle storytelling things. Yeah, I know this is a speedrun race, but I still like this game a lot, alright?
Yep, you can see them right now. They're like, nope, nope, nope.
Nope. None of that. Oh man,
Something
those
that's
jukes.
also really interesting, and you may see it later, is that if you plant a power bomb while there are X's flying around, they all get lured into the power bomb's blast. I don't know what causes that to happen, or if that's like lore or something, but it's really interesting.
I think that's just... I may be wrong on this, but I think that's just the power bomb. One of the features of the power bomb is that when like the oval that flies out flies back in, it sucks things into it.
Maybe.
At least that's what I always thought. Don't know how right or wrong that is, but I guess if it can do the X-ray scope thing when it explodes, then it can suck X parasites in when it implodes afterwards. So I don't know.
Mandatoby going for the YOLO strats here for the speed booster, and he gets it. The reason why I call it the YOLO strat is because if you start the speed booster really early in that room, there is a chance that a waiver can block or stop you from running it, losing you 10 seconds. But he decided to get really ballsy with it and managed to pull it off, so that's pretty good. You know, risk-reward stuff.
That's one of the things I like about Fusion, is the fact that the race itself has a bunch of strats that look really cool but are extremely ballsy. So it's one of the, so in a race, depending on how comfortable the runner is feeling, you can sometimes get things like that, or any number of the so-called Jagger strats as well. Just look great, don't save you much time, but will lose you a lot of time if you screw them up.
I mean, you got to do it for the viewers, right?
Absolutely. Because you're not trying to get a personal best time, you're trying to get the personal best in all our hearts.
Next Gen having issues controlling the Core X. This seems to be a recurring theme. We might see JaySee have the same issues. But he manages to break it apart, pick up the various suit, and be yellow like the other two runners.
Yeah, but he does manage to get Sweet Spot though, so he saves a couple of seconds there despite having trouble with the doubles. And we see Toby heading into one of the first of the puzzle rooms here, where you let the X reform into a different enemy, so that you can later on, or you can screw it up and have to reset the room. But no, this game is full of these. The puzzle rooms are basically, you have to use the enemies and your abilities in order to take advantage of the enemies so that you can get power-ups. Because X will, in some rooms, will reform into different enemies. You can see it turns into a zoomer, so you can get that missile tank. And you'll be seeing all sorts of things like that now that he has the ice missile quote-unquote upgrade. Yeah, it does more damage than super missile, but unfortunately your first hit will always freeze the enemy. So even if you're hitting something that a missile should be able to destroy, you have to use 2 missiles because the first one will always freeze it.
It's more like a side grade.
I guess. Unfortunately, that's not the only thing the missile upgrades do, though. They also... You mentioned that you have to do some shenanigans with the double missiles, because when you get missile upgrades, the missiles themselves fly faster and also have a longer gap between shots. So the timing for double missiles is different with every new missile upgrade you get, becoming actually harder with each of them. And hang on a second, what's going on Toby's screen? The screen is flashing red. I think we might have an emergency. But where is the emergency?
What is it, like Sector Z or something like that?
Franker 3? I can't remember. and apologies to Big Ohm, I'm really bad at remembering enemy names. Yep, but we have an emergency in Sector 3. 6 minutes to main Magoo explosion. So, Toby is on his way to Sector 3 to stop the station from exploding, and Phazon will shortly be having his own emergency. And JaySee is fixing the water because he's a plumber. I guess. Man, you can't escape Mario in any Nintendo game, can you? But, goodness, I'm not even sure what... There's too much going on! No, but as far as the emergency sequence, you can't save during it, but that's okay, because the time limit is actually extremely generous. Even in casual play, you'll usually finish with a couple minutes to spare. And you'll be seeing most of the racers finish with well over 4 minutes to spare. There's a lot of time. Unfortunately...
Anyone care to guess Mandatoby's time?
Oh.
By the way, if you make a mistake and you guess incorrectly, you'll be banned. No, I'm just kidding.
Guys, whenever I just think that the stupid gag at one of the races was basically, it's like, okay, emergency is over, mods ban anyone posting Frank or Z in chat.
I remember in AGDQ where the runners were doing the emergency section. One of the commentators said something like, "If there are any Ralph or Z's, please ban." And so the AGDQ chat obviously would do Ralph or Z, and I think the majority of them got banned, and it was hilarious.
And yeah, Toby getting a respectable one. It's probably gonna be like a high 420, I think. Oh god, I can't believe I said that out loud. Yeah, a thing where you say a thing and you're just like, damn it, you know someone's going, that's not what I meant, but I already said it, it can't be taken back.
428's a really good time.
Oh.
Is this deja vu?
I don't know. All we know is that since we can hear Phazon's sound, we know that the true journey is to go into Sector 3 and figure out where the voice is coming from. Incidentally, there actually is a special cutscene that plays if you let the timer run out. Because I saw it on a stream once. I forget whose it was, but they just had a bad emergency, so they just sat there until the timer ran out, and the station has a special animation for it exploding. It's actually kind of neat.
That is interesting. I don't think I've ever seen anyone fail, or let the timer run out. Mandatoby having a little bit of difficulty climbing up. Can I call this Red Tower? Because it looks like Red Tower.
It does kind of look like Red Tower, doesn't it?
No, we have to make our own names.
We do. we'll put it to vote in the Discord later. But anyway, Next Gen is making his way to that puzzle room. While Phazon's having an emergency, JaySee is opening the green doors. And Toby is... I want to say the next thing he has to do is go back to the main deck, doesn't he?
Yep.
That's right, it's time for Toby to do what every good Metroid game does, and save the animals.
Next Gen, freezing that Ripper a little bit too far to the right, having difficulty getting on it the first try. Once again, these are small mistakes that allow JaySee to catch up if he's even able to, and it will make for a much more interesting race later on when, if Next Gen has made enough mistakes for JaySee to catch up.
Oh, Phazon accidentally shooting out the platform, so he has to wait for it to respawn. One of the other things we talk about the RNG a lot is certain things like enemy spawns, like for example the Ripper in that puzzle room. They sometimes will spawn in a few different spots, and the direction they're facing can also vary. So there are a few things beyond your control you just have to kind of roll with, and sometimes they just cost you time. There's nothing you can do about it. So there's a lot of things that can definitely change the flow of a race. I see here, Phazon, he picked up the Y-beam Core X at 411. Toby had picked up at 430, so that's a 19-second difference right there. Little things like that add up over the course of the entire run.
And Mandatoby pulling off half of the impossible strat. Really difficult strat to pull off in that room. But he was only able to get half of it. I think he settled.
Shine Break?
No, the climb with the stretchies. And he also gets really good animal RNG here, so he's going to save a little bit more time.
Alright, Next Gen also now having an emergency. And JaySee facing off against Box and not having the best time with it. Well, he gets a slightly better placement for the final hit, so Box has to walk less to jump through the ceiling.
Oh, that wind spark. JaySee did not mean to do that.
Oops. Yeah,
meanwhile, Next Gen is also trying to complete the emergency.
Yeah, at this point you already have so many missiles that you just like, I'm just gonna fire all the missiles down, not even have to worry about. I don't have to worry about the worms, whatever their real name is. I'm so bad at remembering enemy names. I make no apologies. But the computer gives Toby the bad news. Everyone else in the station is dead. So I guess there's not much to do aside from run around and cause damage. But actually, since you mentioned the JaySee's Shine Spark accident there, it's a great time to talk a little bit about the speed booster, because we haven't really talked about it. In this game, the speed booster makes a triumphant return from Super Metroid. Unfortunately, you don't get the dedicated run button, so you just hold down the direction until you start glowing. Nothing fancy like 3 or 4 tap dashes or short charge. You just push the button and then until you start glowing. But Shine Spark's been given a bit of a makeover. Doing horizontal and diagonals is a lot easier, and now that you have the extra little fancy thing where if you Shine Spark horizontally into a slope, you'll start running again, instead of just bonking. So the game takes advantage of that. We take advantage of that to move faster through some rooms, and also do a few puzzle rooms to get items later on. And being able to Shine Spark well is necessary, and you'll be seeing all our runners do it a lot.
Yeah, you don't have to make any fancy inputs to Shine Spark in the direction you want, like in Super Metroid. You just have to hold the direction. Or in the case of diagonals, just hold the L trigger. But yeah, in Super, it's like something like if you wanted to Shine Spark midair to the left, you do like up left A or something like that.
Yeah, you have to press the direction like a split second after you press the jump button, otherwise you just get the vertical one. It's kind of finicky.
It's really screwy.
And several people have also mentioned in chat, I forgot to mention that, you don't take damage from using it either, which is the big thing. Because you don't have to manage your health to Shine Spark. You can Shine Spark to your heart's content.
And it's not necessarily faster either, so the wind-up and the bonk for the Shine Spark is very long in comparison to Super Metroid. So it will actually cost you time if you decide to Shine Spark over just running or just jumping. So the runners know this, and they're going to make sure that they don't Shine Spark when they don't have to.
Yep, and I'm not sure about this, but it always seemed to me that the Shine Spark in this game doesn't travel as quickly as the one in Super. Like Samus's, yeah.
Super's is instant. Like you Shine Spark from one place, you're already on the other side. It's so fast.
Yeah, and because of that, there's also something else that comes into play, which you might see you'll probably see Toby do it. You might see some of the others doing it, which is a space boost. Which is since that startup and bonk animation takes so long, in some cases, just using space jump to jump while you're running is faster than shine sparking because of those animations. But it's also harder because you have to keep an eye on the floor and the ceiling. So keep your eyes peeled for that later on.
I don't know if there has been anything significant on JC's side as far as catching up. I don't feel like he is catching up, but more like keeping the same pace.
I mean, he's playing well enough. Just next gen hasn't been making any tremendous mistakes, at least not enough of them for JaySee to make the comeback.
Mandatoby doing really interesting strats in that room there. He morphed through the tunnel and crouched out of it just to freeze the Ripper instead of jumping and shooting an ice missile like some other runners do.
Huh. I swear, every time I do another one of these races, I find someone doing a strategy that I've never seen before.
Oh yeah, Mandatoby does have a few things that he does that is unique to the game. Even in Zero Mission, he has a few things that no other runner does.
Well, that's always cool, though. It definitely adds some variety, and just that's one of the things I like about the Metroid, just the GBA Metroids, is the fact that in some cases, if you find a strategy that works better for you, it'll probably be just as viable. I mean, the differences will usually be a matter of a few seconds. So if it works more consistently for you, then do it, and a lot of people do.
Yeah, like Late Wave.
Like Late Wave. God, that race was madness.
Pulling that speed jump room off in Zero Mission Mandatoby, oh my god, that was really nice to see.
Oh man. Yes, but now we see PhazonKnight also picking up the loudest power-up in the game, the power bombs. Because I don't know who their audio engineer was, but by golly, the power bombs are very loud in this game. And this game apparently is very proud of its power bombs because they do more than just explode. They also reveal things, and they also pull X's toward them. So the game gives you a lot of them. What, 74 by the end in 100%?
Uh-huh.
That's a lot of power bombs. That whoosh, though.
And I think it was mentioned in one of the earlier races, but the reason why you have so many E-tanks, so many missiles, and so many power bombs is because unlike Super Metroid and Zero Mission, you don't have the ability to select super missiles. So that means, as far as the game developers go, there are more. I mean, if you want to do 100%, you got to add more things. So the lack of super missiles as a selectable item makes it so that they have to add more E-tanks and more power bombs and more missiles.
Yep. And to be fair, as much as I actually like the fact that super missiles are an upgrade rather than a separate power-up, but on the other hand, they could have just made your mandatory power-ups count as a percentage, but they didn't, so it's their own fault.
I guess they really wanted to have 3 items in the same room.
I guess so.
You'll see that later on in Sector 1, I think it is, where there are 3 items in one room. And it almost seems like the developers didn't care anymore. They're just like, we give up. Here, have 3 items.
Or it's one of those things where they expected the players will be like, okay, there are 2 items. They wouldn't be mad enough to put a 3rd one in here. And they're just all standing around, just laughing and just wringing their hands together like, yeah. Meanwhile, Phazon having some trouble with that Ripper puzzle room there. I don't like this room.
A lot of issues with this in his last race. Hopefully, he can get through this.
Oh, that's pretty far out. Oh, okay, okay, there we go. Just don't take the... okay.
Nice. I worried for him a little bit there.
Yeah.
He's going to try to speed jump out of the room and break the spawn block. And he gets it. Nice.
Nice. Oh, meanwhile, Toby's fighting Yakuza and we're not talking about it.
Seems like he's having a good fight.
Yeah, it certainly is. Yakuza's a very annoying fight. I don't like Yakuza. But he's getting the doubles with the ice missiles, which is... ooh! Having very good Core X. You know, the other three are all in Sector 5, which is nice. It's rare since we had so many people in one sector. Now JaySee would earn some serious points if he decided to do the what's the trick called? Like we basically just do the trick, the one frame trick to get the shine charge running to the right and enter the data room from the other side.
The reverse ice.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it's it saves you grand total of 1 second, but it is very difficult to pull off without pause buffering. So you won't typically see runners to do it in a race or even in a PB attempt, unless they're going for in-game time PB, which is the primary timer for leaderboards.
It's true. Not to mention, it just looks really cool.
But it requires a lot of pause buffering, and it's usually not worth it.
Oh yeah, it's true.
Oh, Mandatoby, I think he forgot to lay a power bomb and kill those pancakes, so they stop him there for just a few seconds.
It looked like he laid it a little bit too low.
Oh, did he actually? Okay.
Yeah, he dropped it, but it looked like it was a little... normally you drop it close to the ceiling there, but he dropped it while he was already falling away from it quite a distance. Meanwhile, Toby is on his way toward what we are pretty sure is supposed to be a boss, but doesn't feel like it.
It's more of how quickly can you press the B button.
Pretty much. And you also see Toby standing very far forward, because that way the flower pod thingy on the far end of the room won't be dropping seed pods. Because when they're both shooting the matchup, they do have an annoying tendency to knock you into the flowers on the floor. Either that or I'm just really bad at this game. Take your pick. Now getting the doubles on this beam core here is actually a little bit trickier than it looks, because the room is a lot shorter than some of the other ones you fought in, and now you have the longer missile timer because of the ice missiles, so... did a very good job on that one.
Yep, it is still possible to double missile them, it's just tighter timing. And yeah, it's also reliant on the positioning of the Core X. As you saw there, Mandatoby made sure that the Core X was touching the ground before he jumped up, and he himself had to place Samus at the ceiling before shooting downwards with missiles. Like, if you can get those two correct, all you'd have to do then is just spam missiles downwards.
Meanwhile, Phazon about to head into the Yakuza fight. And one more time, just for old time's sake, let's have one last emergency in Franker Z for JaySee.
Emergency in JaySee?
JaySee is a walking, talking emergency. What are you talking about? Meanwhile, Paul's more doing God's work, linking that clip every time someone talks about JaySee.
I think I prefer JaySee and Franker Z. I think that works.
6 minutes to main Magoo explosion. And Phazon having a pretty good first phase of Yakuza there. I think we should probably talk about Yakuza when JaySee or Next Gen makes it there, because I think we've ignored him twice now.
the less I talk about Yakuza, the better. I hate this boss.
Yeah, no, so do I. It makes me so angry. It gets this catchy tune.
Yeah, man. Sour, please.
Alright. Toby heading on down to Sector 5 to pick up more upgrades, or... Actually, no, this is not the upgrade. Wait. There's too many things going on. My brain is just throwing up his arms and saying, no, I'm done.
Oh no!
Oh,
JaySee breaks
JaySee.
the platform and he's gonna have to wait for it to grow back. This looks like a low 410s or even 4-minute flat.
Oh, that's an excellent question. Is Toby going to be going for the Nightmare Space Boost? And meanwhile, we should, by popular request, we'll talk about it. Phazon is about to head up onto the final major hurdle with the sacks, which is the chase in Sector 2. This is the only one where you can't just wait. When you were playing casually, the only one where you can't just wait for it to go away, because it'll just pace in that room until you drop down to say hello. So you just kind of have to freeze it and run past it. But thankfully, since we're speedrunners and... Phazon, please. And we...
JaySee with the high 420.
Blaze it. God. Can't just... But yeah, no, the game actually wants you to go into the door to the left, jump behind a wall, and the sacks will come in and be like, oh, I don't know where they went. But instead you can just blow out the floor there and just run out sooner. It's faster, save 2-door transitions, we just do it. And Toby on his way to fight the Nightmare, which... Have we ever been able to figure out what it's supposed to be? I've heard so many differing opinions on that.
The Nightmare? According to Adam, it was supposed to be some kind of military weapon.
Yeah. But I mean, what does it look like?
It looks like what happens to my Jello when I leave it outside the fridge for a while.
What the heck are you using to make your Jello? Oh god, Yakuza, shoot. I didn't talk about the thing at the beginning. So at the beginning you saw Next Gen jump up and shoot before it appeared, because when you scroll the screen up you can actually hit it before it comes down. And you do that so that you only have to deal with it opening its mouth one extra time, because the less time you have to spend fighting Yakuza, the better. And Phase 2 is a complete random crapshoot. It just bounces around, and you have to shoot it in the open mouth. Charge Beam technically does more damage, but missiles are easier, so we just use missiles. And yeah, so let's all... everyone, look at Nightmare on Mandatoby's screen. What do you think it looks like? Because I'll just describe it as a sad CRT with arms. I heard someone else describe it as a cat in a microwave, and oh my god.
Yeah, it definitely looks like my Jello.
Your Jello has 6 eyes?
Well, I mean, you could put almonds in it or something and make it look like eyes.
Your almonds have eyes? I guess so. Okay, but anyways. Yeah, Nightmare is one of those things that you hate when you're doing it casually, but in 100%, it's not much of a threat of any sort. Toby getting the first double, not quite getting a second. See if we can get one here. Yes, so... Having a very good Nightmare fight. A sad softball. You know what? The stitching on the mouth, I can totally see that.
Sad softball. That's the first time I've heard of that.
Hey, every time I ask it, I get different answers in chat, so I just keep asking. Jello made with the ingredients from beyond time and space. It's Eldritch Jello. There you go. Oh, meanwhile, Next Gen about to do his own SAX chase through Sector 2. Let's see how that goes for him. But Nightmare gives us the greatest gift of all, a decent color scheme for our suit. I'm not just saying that because I like purple. It just looks better. It does. The Varia looks so bad in this game.
Mandatoby navigating through the worst room in the game with little resistance. You'll see the other runners, if they have bad RNG in this room, they'll have a hard time getting through it.
Yeah, it's one of those rooms that doesn't look that bad, but when you actually play it yourself, it is so easy to just get knocked around like a piñata by those wall and ceiling enemies that shoot the orange things. I'm sure they have a name, I just don't know what it is. Meanwhile, JC saving the animals. So all 4 racers have now saved the animals. Thumbs up.
And it seems like Next Gen actually... Oh no, I thought Next Gen was that Nightmare, but he's not.
Not quite.
But he'll be there shortly. Phazon on his way to Nightmare.
Yep. Thank you, Paulsmore. So we need someone else in chat to be keeping track of the number of times Paulsmore has actually linked that clip. I would like a count reported at the end of the race. I would appreciate it greatly. And okay, let's see. Phazon going for... Oh, doesn't quite get the Shine Spark set up.
He thought about it. Should I pick that missile up now or later? He paused there for like a moment. Oh no!
Oh,
he can. Yeah, okay. He's doing the other backup, the faster backup.
All right. Which is that's fine. It's respectable. The sideways Shine Spark takes you through several rooms. These Nightmare Spaces just takes you through one extra transition into this room here. So it's a bit faster, but it's also extremely difficult. And that energy tank that PhazonKnight just picked up. If you miss it on the way down, you have to come back here after the Nightmare fight, so you really don't want to miss it if you can help it. Thankfully, there's a pretty good visual cue, so as long as you're good with shooting missiles while you're falling, you're fine. But sometimes mistakes happen, and... Oh, Toby doing pause buffer to get that shine charge. Get the fast strat in this room, very nice.
I think pause buffers should be banned.
Banned? Well, it could be worse. It could be like the timing glitch in Zero Mission where you just pause buffer to get an exceedingly good time, but it makes the run like an hour longer, or something like that. And Toby getting the final missile, quote, upgrade, the diffusion missiles, which conveniently do charge their door transitions like the charge beam does, which is good, because they take even longer to charge than the beam does. It allows you to freeze multiple things with your arrows, with your missiles. All right, Phazon facing up with Nightmare, being whatever the heck you think it looks like.
You know what it looks like? It looks like a monster that did not make it to Dark Souls.
Oh my god! Now I'm just imagining someone just adding a Dark Souls-esque health bar under a screen cap of the fight with Nightmare.
Nightmare defeated after you kill it.
Yes. Yeah, there you go. Victory achieved.
Phazon having difficulty luring Nightmare. Okay, it's very tight, but he manages to get it.
Oh, Next Gen Next Gen looks like he dropped the setup for the Shine Spark, but manages to get the fast backup. Well played. I don't think anyone has actually got... I think Toby was the one who got the powerbomb placement correct, not to drop a second one in that room that JC is in right now.
He did, although he did spend some time to make sure he got it right the first time.
Ah. Yeah, the thing about that room is you have to drop the powerbomb very high, otherwise it doesn't break through the second ceiling. So... it's a little bit... It's a bit harder to get than you think, but at the same time it's... Actually, no, it's just harder to get than you think. I'm going to stand by that. I couldn't think of a second thing to say.
You basically have to jump as high as you can and morph and place a powerbomb as soon as possible. Like there's no room for any delay. It is possible to do it as soon as you enter the room, putting the powerbomb in the top right corner. But it does take some practice to do.
Oh, JC taking a fall on the second Ripper in that puzzle room. And I'll watch Phazon go through the most annoying room in the game. Just getting knocked around a bit. They weren't joking. Those little enemies, they don't look like they're bad, but they're hard to kill and they knock you around.
Yep, and they're not exactly in the best places for you to freeze them either.
Nope.
So you can either just power through, or you can stop to freeze all of them if you want. Either way, you're gonna lose time.
Oh, and next gen using the intended strat to get that energy tank up there, which is interesting. Normally you see people just do the unmorph off the crumble blocks to grab it.
Yeah, PhazonKnight did the same thing. I guess he is experiencing PTSD or something. Or I don't know if that is what he always does, because I've never seen him do the ledge grab.
Well, I can understand why, though, because having to come back around after Nightmare is not exactly a fast thing to have to do, so...
Yeah, and according to someone in the chat, crumble blocks are PhazonKnight's worst enemy.
Crumble blocks are pretty much everyone's worst enemy. Crumble blocks are terrible in this game.
Oh no, next gen, please. Stop the nightmare. There you go. Oh, it's too high.
Oh no.
Okay, he did lure it downwards, though. He'll have time to kill it here, I think. Yep.
Okay, good. Yeah, manipulating Nightmare is somehow even more clunky than manipulating Core X's, but they've managed to eventually get it to work out. Alright, and... oh my gosh, I wasn't paying attention. Toby's an entire boss fight.
Oh yeah, he made really quick work with box 2.
Yeah, I guess didn't have to worry about the Xbox this time. Next Gen getting himself the gravity suit, and JC making his way back to the ship so that he too can go fight Yakuza. And oh no, Toby, you found the sax. It's having its own little light show in here. Party too lit, must eject compartment. That's the most anticlimactic escape sequence in the entire game, I swear.
I find it interesting that those baby Metroids bump you around when they're supposed to cling onto you.
Well, because remember, you're part Metroid now.
Ah, that's true.
So they're just kind of like, oh, hello, friend. Oops, sorry. And just in case you thought we hadn't been talking too much about the, oh, Phazon not quite getting the shine charge.
No, he forgot to hold right there.
Yep. Unfortunately, the last few talks we have with the computer, starting with the one that Toby just had, are the longest ones in the entire run. They are very long conversations. But you see Phazon doing the backup strat, which ends up being the actual intended strat for getting that powerbomb tank. So it all works out. Get a little bit of get to see all the things in this tournament. Get your money's worth. But Toby is on his way to the final proper Corex boss. We'll be there in a minute. First, I'm going to point out on JC's screen, because we talked about before, but keep a close eye on what he does when the Yakuza fight starts. The screen will shake, and he will jump up and take some shots while the screen is scrolled. Those are the early hits I was talking about. Just like that. And then you'll see that if Yakuza starts to come down without opening its mouth, he'll get grabbed on purpose, because that resets the cycle. Just like that. Oh, that was real good. That was real good luck. JC has a very good first phase for the Yakuza fight there.
It's a really good second phase too. Well, up until now, but he was able to hit Yakuza as soon as his mouth opens, making sure that he gets through as quickly as possible. Because while Yakuza's mouth is open, it's vulnerable and you can put a missile in it. But at the same time, he only keeps it open for so long before he closes it again. So hitting his mouth as soon as it's open is obviously the fastest way to handle that. Not necessarily an easy way to do it, but it is the fastest way.
And we're not hearing Toby's sounds, although anyone who knows is probably hearing it in their head anyway, but we are fighting the most excited boss in the entire game, because Ridley is shrieking happy to see you. And you're seeing Toby shoot through the box diagonally because, much like Corex's, Ridley's hitbox is diagonal, so Plasma Beam does damage based on number of frames. It's inside the hitbox, so diagonal means more frames, more damage, less Ridley, less screaming. And he's getting the doubles. Getting doubles on Ridley's Corex is actually extremely difficult because the diffusion missiles are very hard to get doubles with.
Yep, and as you saw there, he was killing Ridley primarily with the Wave Beam, unlike Super Metroid or Zero Mission, where your primary source of damage is Super Missile. Wave Beam does tons more damage than your missiles would. I think it's for every one Wave Beam diagonally through the hitbox, it's something along the lines of like 20 supers or something like that. I can't remember the math.
Yeah, in this game what works is every new beam upgrade adds more to the base damage of the weapon and a new feature. So Plasma means it passes through enemies, Wave passes through walls, but by the time you get the Wave, you're doing... Oof. I used to have that. I had that chart handy, but you're doing a lot more damage per frame than super missiles can ever do. So, you need to be using the beam, the charge beam.
Yep, and the casual runner would almost certainly spam supers at Ridley and wonder why it's taking a long time to kill him.
Alright, so with that, Toby is now officially in cleanup, starting with Sector 1. And I'm not going to miss it this time. Phazon is going to be fighting Xbox here in a moment. But first he has to go down and be reunited with our old friend, the authoritative female voice.
Warning.
No entry without authorization. Remember that, because she's going to keep telling you. And here we go, it's time for the Xbox fight. Remember this jerk, it's similar to Sector 4. I mean, Sector 3. Sector 3. But now it uses missiles instead of those weird ball things, then the room is shorter, so if you're not careful, when it jumps, it will knock you off the ceiling. So which is why you see Phazon shooting the diagonal shots and then immediately moving, because to be at the range to get those diagonal shots, it will knock you off the ceiling. And the water is electrified, so this fight feels a lot more high stakes, even though it's not as difficult as it seems. Although I guess, depending on who I guess the community is kind of divided as to whether Box 1 or Xbox is a harder fight. But yeah, getting doubles on this fight is pretty much a task-only thing, because the room is way too short to get the setup consistently.
I heard that there was another box that was trying to be that was in development. They called it like Xbox 360 or something like that, and it shoots red rings at you. Although I don't know. I heard it's a rumor though.
If only you could see the look on my face right now.
So Mandatoby is cleaning up now.
In more ways than one. Oh my god. How do I mute your microphone for you?
60 seconds to isolation lockdown.
Next Gen is also going to be on his way to fight Xbox, and JC is on his way to fight Nightmare, so he's moving forward, but he doesn't seem to be making that much progress in catching up. So Next Gen has been playing well enough to maintain a lead.
Yep, but there are some puzzle rooms that's still ahead that Next Gen could mess up and allow JC to catch up.
Ooh,
But
that's
at
true.
the same time, JC himself has been messing up some of the puzzle rooms that he's already completed. So it's going to take a lot of effort from JC to make sure he clears everything in first try, and then some luck on his side, hoping that Next Gen would fail some of the rooms a few times.
Yep, but if that's going to happen anywhere, it's going to be during cleanup, because that's where you have some of the most challenging puzzle rooms and also some of the most challenging movement to get optimally.
Yep.
And looks like we're 0 for 4 for Nightmare Space Boost.
None
sure
of the runners have keyboards, so I don't think that they would use it. They would try doing it.
Meanwhile, Paulsmore is probably shaking his head in disappointment somewhere.
JC managing to recover from falling through the combo blocks there.
And hey, Phazon is making his way to Ridley, which is nice because we're using his game audio, so now everyone can enjoy Ridley's happiness. And hey, it also gives us a chance to talk a little bit about the Gold Pirates, because that sure is a thing that we have to deal with. Oh, and Next Gen. It's now Next Gen's turn to take on the Xbox here. Let's see how he does. Oh, it's running away. It knows death is near.
Yeah, Next Gen decided to fight from the left side, which is the safer side, so you don't get knocked off because Box can't jump that far to the left. So he's playing it safer, but it's going to require more rounds.
Yeah. If there's any category where you can probably afford to play a bit more sloppy with Xbox, it's 100%. But oh, keep your eye on Phazon's screen. You'll see him shoot and then turn around quickly for the Gold Pirates, because much like you can only shoot them from behind, but because of oh my god, I am so sorry. Because of what I can only assume was a programming shortcut, the game only checks to see if you're facing the same direction as the Gold Pirates, and it assumes that you're behind them if you're facing the same direction. So, ta-da!
I still think it's dishonorable. Don't shoot someone in the back. Meanwhile, JC fighting the molten jello with almonds from hell.
Eldritch gelatin.
He manages to lure Nightmare really quickly, so he's going to gain some time here on Next Gen. Oh yeah, that laggy scream.
Oh my god. It's gonna haunt my dreams.
Really good fight for JC there.
Yeah, there we go.
And Phazon picking up the screw attack with style, as you saw that the fusion missiles kind of spread out as he picked up the screw attack.
Phazon very carefully trying not to kill any of the Rippers here.
Oh!
Oh,
Oh no, JC. That's the second time he's failed to pick up that E-Tank. He's going to have to run around again. This is what I'm talking about, where JC needs to make sure that he gets everything without fail. That's going to cost him a lot of time.
yeah, you can't afford to be making mistakes like this.
Nope. I wonder if he's going to opt to do it the safe way instead this time.
It wouldn't surprise me. At this point, you've already lost some time, and you don't want to take a chance and do it a third time. Nope, he's going to go for it again.
Oh
JC.
no.
JC, come on. Oh, Toby's still continuing to tear through cleanup, now in Sector 5. And Phazon's starting cleanup in Sector 1, so we have two of our runners in cleanup now, and okay. This time JC just did the safe route, and that's good. That's good.
Oh, something stopped JC from speed boosting. He
was
was
odd.
all the way to the right. I don't know why he didn't have space boost. I mean, speed boost.
I'm not sure what happened there either. That was weird.
He must have like let go of left or something.
Oh, next gen
And bonks into the wall there.
didn't have his diffusion charge, so he's gonna have to climb back up now. There we go. There we go. Oh, come on. Next gen, I believe in you. You can do this.
Is this
There
a
we
new
go.
puzzle?
Unintentional puzzle room. It's fine. Alright, so... Oh, Toby trying to do the space... We talked about that earlier, doing a space boost here, which makes the next puzzle room quicker. But the downside is, you have to make sure you get the space boost.
Yep. And I think Mandatoby has a strong enough lead that he's going to actually try these difficult strats. Or not. So he decides to give up and go for the Shine Spark strat here.
Which is fine. No, space boosting through doors is always a little bit harrowing, just because it's a little bit tricky to keep track of your vertical positioning through a door sometimes. And since bonking will instantly kill your speed, and you have to carry it through 3 rooms, that one's definitely a challenging space boost to do. Speaking of challenging, Toby's running back down to no entry without authorization lady, but then he's going to do what some would say is the most challenging pickup in the game that's not a puzzle room. And the one that also gives me nightmares about crumble blocks.
I wonder how many times you need to fail it in order for the intended weight to be the faster.
That's an excellent question. I don't know. Meanwhile, Phazon passing through the room that has 3 missile tanks in it. We talked about it earlier.
They should have just put 6 tanks there.
You go home.
Yeah, just double up and have every tile block have an item in it.
Yeah, a 2x3 room with... No, it should have done is they needed to make it a 3x3. That way when you have all the items, I haven't picked any of them up, it looks like a tic-tac-toe board. Alright, Toby is now in the room we were talking about. Let's see how many tries it takes him to get this power bomb tank.
I guess it's 1.
Dead. 1? Let's see.
Oh, yeah!
Oh!
No problem for Mandatoby.
I think it only would have been more impressive if he had gotten the trick on the way back, gotten it twice. So Toby is almost done with Sector 6 clean. It just has one more room. It's not really difficult, but if you put the bomb in the wrong spot... Oh, no!
He's trying to space boost through that.
Yeah, well, it's like we said, space boosting is definitely faster, but the thing is, if you screw it up, it stops being faster. And he's going for the... Oh, no! Now, I will point out something. You may have noticed that Toby was able to fire a shot while he was still jumping. That's because in this game, if you're holding a charge shot while you're somersaulting and you press the R button, which is the missile button, the game lets you fire the shot without coming out of the somersault, which is actually incredibly useful for going through doors. In fact, you do it twice in Sector 6 here during cleanup if you want to be optimal. But it still feels a little bit awkward, and I'm still not very good at it myself. So being able to do it well takes a lot of practice.
Yeah, and the only requirement for you to be able to do that is to have at least one missile.
Yep. If you have 0 missiles, it will not work. But in 100%, that's not really going to happen unless you're Palsmore, because he just shoots missiles everywhere. Meanwhile, we see Next Gen doing the one of the first of the trickier shine sparks when you're first loading the route, which is this one in Sector 1 here, because you have to shine spark up here to get this power bomb tank. And then you have to go through those rooms again to get a shine spark and then carry it back into that boss room. And if you screw it up, that's an extra 2 door transitions. No, actually no, more than 2. It's like 4 door transitions. And that wastes a lot of time, so you don't want to be messing up this trick. Toby going through Crumble City. You see him touching the blocks but not taking the fall. This room is made up entirely of crumble blocks, and there are 2 things to get. But he gets them, no problem. Alright, Next Gen getting that charge just fine, and JaySee taking a refill. I didn't see what his health and ammunition was at. I wonder why he took the refill. It's a mystery.
Must be 0% tendencies or something.
Nah, it could be.
So yeah, JaySee is primarily a 0% runner, so he may do things that seem normal to him, but may not be the best thing for any percent or 100%.
No, you're absolutely right. Muscle memory is pretty difficult to break, especially if you've done a lot of runs in a certain category. And Toby coming into one of my least favorite rooms of cleanup. I hate this room. It's another one of the rooms where the optimal strat involves jumping off of crumble blocks, which is a frame-perfect jump. The intended route is to freeze the Rippers, but okay, there we go. He gets it.
That room is slightly easier because it's okay if you fall through the crumble blocks because you have that space. There's space in between each of the crumble blocks, and in that space is where you would go back into space jump and try to space jump back out. So it's not easy to say, but it is significantly easier than the 1 frame jump trick.
Yeah, it's definitely easier than the one in Sector 6. That one is the most annoying crumble block puzzle.
And there is no setup for it in Sector 6. You just have to hope that you get that 1 frame jump.
Yeah. or as a sector 2 one, if you just release a diffusion missile as soon as you come in, you'll more often than not get the Rippers in a good position. So there's definitely multiple strats for that room, depending on your comfort level with jumping off of crumble blocks, or space jumping in a really short space. But speaking of puzzle rooms, Toby, heading into the final puzzle room here, which is the one you see in one of the tutorials at the beginning of the game. It's a chain of shine sparks, and I'm not sure why he jumped there. Oh, he's just going after this one first. He's not going for the swag crouch on crumble blocks. Just action on every screen. JaySee facing off against Xbox. Phazon doing some Phazon next gen, both knee-deep in cleanup, and Toby just getting that final tank in Sector 2. And which means all he's got to do now is head on back to the main deck, get the final powerbomb tank, and he is at 100%. At least we hope so. Alright, we see Phazon doing the intended strat for this room here. You shine spark through it, and now you have to do the setup. Well, you can see why... Oh, I've actually never seen that setup for that powerbomb tank. I should remember that. This is a pretty useful backup.
Yeah, there are many ways to get that. Oh, he turned around and broke the space boost.
That's really easy to do there. I still do it sometimes without thinking about it, because you think you're going to overshoot it, so your finger just moves to the right without thinking, and it kills your shine charge.
Yeah. So, if I think that there are 3 ways to pick up that powerbomb tank. The first one is to do what PhazonKnight did. The second one is to shine spark high so that you bonk as soon as you enter the room, and then do the shine spark from the bottom. And then the third one is to space boost through and hope that you pick it up during your space boost.
Yeah, which is definitely the fastest one, but that requires you to be comfortable with the space boost, which takes practice. Definitely takes practice.
And of the 3, the one PhazonKnight did is actually the riskiest, because if you don't get that low height, oh no, he has to redo the speed jump here.
Yeah.
But if you don't get the low height there, you'll have to try and do it again. And like I said before, anytime you have to redo a speed booster is an automatic 10-second loss.
Yes, and even worse if you have to pass through several doors, because transitions add time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so practicing your shine spark and speed booster tricks is definitely a place you don't want to be making mistakes when you're trying to clean up your movement. Alright.
Oh, so the chat's saying that JaySee is missing an item.
Really?
Yeah, it's Sector 6. Hopefully JaySee remembers, or hopefully he checks to see if he has all his items before he talks to Adam one last time.
Oh, he might not though, because when you're coming back through there, you don't fall back down there. You just screw attack through the blocks at the top of the room. So unless he specifically remembers that he missed those, he's not going to go back down there. Oh boy, this could be bad news for JaySee.
He may get the world record for 99%.
That 99% world record.
Oh, he picks up the parasite and has to reset the room.
Oops.
And he's hiding in a safe space now to make sure he doesn't accidentally get it.
Well, that's okay. Even though JaySee gets the 99%, no one has yet challenged my 98% world record I got in my round 1 race with Toby. But speaking of Toby, he is on his way to the final Sax fight. Right here, right now. See if he can get the quick strat.
It's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Easy peasy.
You say that, I've never been able to get the quick strat. And he gets the quick kill on phase 2, he sure does. It's official 100%, official 99% where it's 100% but with Bob skip. Oh my goodness.
Oh, I think Mandatoby got the triple double there, which is pretty difficult to do.
Wow, yeah. Well, he's on his way to Omega. Toby on the home stretch. Let's see if he can get that low height Shine Spark.
Let's see if he can go for Pogo strats here.
Ooh, Pogo. Yeah, folks in chat confirming Toby did in fact get the triple double.
I got one double. Okay. So he's not Ice Cube. He did not mess around and get a triple double.
Phazon dropping the power bomb to show off for everyone viewing at home that Crumble City is in fact made up of all these crumble blocks and is. Oh no! Oh no! Oh, no.
Yes!
Oh,
yes!
The recovery! Alright, going for the low height, and no. That was actually extra high. But now let's see if he can get himself a Pogo. Nope, he's not going for Pogo.
He's not going for Pogo.
Well, that's alright. Because if he's not watching the race, he has no way of if he's not watching Phazon, he doesn't know where Phazon is, so he may not want to take the chance.
That's true.
Meanwhile, Next Gen going into that one, the Sector 6 puzzle room. So now he's setting up to get the second power bomb tank. Let's see if he remembers what square to stand on. All right, no problem. Toby giving the Omega Metroid what for mere moments away. And that is time for Mandatoby, who is finished in first place with an SRL race time of 1:47.11.
GG.
Well played. Alright, Phazon having a little bit of trouble with this room, which... No shame, I hate this room.
He screw attacked the Ripper that I think he wanted to land on.
Oh no, JC! He was too far to the left in that room and he bonked on the ceiling instead of going through with the Shine Spark. That's going to be 6 extra screen transitions. Ooh. Oh
Oops.
no! JC.
When you consider JC missing that item in Sector 6, I think it's pretty safe to say that Next Gen may win this race, barring any major mistakes or deaths, if that's even possible.
The only thing, unless he has a catastrophically bad Sax fight, because Sax still does a lot of damage even at this point, it's not looking promising for JC.
Let's see how quickly Next Gen can get this powerbomb tank.
No, that powerbomb tank, Toby may look easy, but it's tricky because crumble blocks you have only one frame to jump off of them.
Oh, he had the one frame spring ball, but did not hold right.
I wonder if you can get the one frame spring ball, is it faster than unmorphing and jumping?
It is faster, yes.
And too bad Spring Ball isn't as handy as it is in the Super, where you just hold the button down. That would make this trick trivial.
Oh, he gets the spring ball again.
Oh, Phazon tackling the final puzzle room. Looks like he's going to try to go for the crumble strats, though, because he did not get that other missile tank first. Oh, going for intended strats. Alright.
Oh, finally
Oh.
gets it.
Crouching a bit too early. Unfortunately, the timing is very tight on that, so you can't just crouch in front of the crumble blocks. Doesn't give you enough time to drop down. Alright. Alright. Next one on his way to finished, Alright, just doing Shine Spark strats, that's fine. Well, in case you're wondering what the gimmick in the room that Next Gen is in now is, those little gates coming out horizontally, there are multiple switches in there. You have to drop the bombs in just the right spot, otherwise vertical gates come up and they block you, and then you have to reset the entire room. Thankfully, we know exactly where to drop the bombs, and everything goes smoothly. You're just kind of in and out.
I'm pretty hungry now. I want In and Out.
I want in and out too, but I'm 3 time zones away from it.
Ah, that's a shame.
I did once write them an email asking if they were ever going to open a location in the Midwest, and they actually responded to me. Which actually was pretty cool.
All right, let's see if chat can guess the timer or Mandatoby's completion time.
Let's
I'm
find out.
guessing a 110 as usual. Every run is a 110 to me.
Scotty, they have them in Texas now? Dang. And it's a 109. GG, Toby.
Meanwhile, PhazonKnight picking up the last item in the game.
Yep. Also on his way to the final Sax fight. And Next Gen also moving along. He's only got Sector 2 cleanup to go, and then he is also on his way back to the main deck. And JC, well, we'll find out soon enough if he realizes he missed something. Meanwhile, if you're listening to, if you are focusing on PhazonKnight's stream, now is an excellent time to go do something else for a little while. So get up, stretch your legs, go to the bathroom, maybe go microwave yourself a Hot Pocket or something, because this is the longest text cutscene in the entire run. So,
Or you can tweet to your friends that you're watching this awesome race.
ooh, yes, you could do that.
Oh, JC with the wind spark. He's gonna have to come back.
Ooh, that's... I almost thought this room that you shine spark up through was kind of curious. It has all these gaps in it, and it's just like, this room serves no purpose aside from just having 2 random power-ups in it. Shoot, this just makes me think about how annoying 100% map completion would be in this game. Because there are a lot of just extra rooms that don't do anything.
I watched the 100% map completion race yesterday on Harvey Relief, and it looked very tedious.
I wanted to watch that, but I accidentally fell asleep, and I woke up just in time for the next run to start. So, because I've never actually seen a 100% map completion race. I figured, I guess it depends, but if you say it looks tedious, then I have no reason to doubt you on this. Because if Super Metroid can't make a category look interesting, then I don't think that category would look much more interesting in Fusion. Alright, Phazon on that final elevator ride up to... Well, no, second to last elevator ride. Disregard what I just said.
Oh, next gen accidentally killing one of the Rippers. I think he is trying to get them in the right position instead of
That
getting
might
more
work.
Yeah.
Oh! No, next gen, please!
Meanwhile, Phazon doing the horizontal strats here. Not quite the quick kill, but it is a easy kill. It's better than having SAX jump around.
I was not aware of that strat. I'll have to remember that.
Once again, it has a lot to do with hitboxes and hitting it diagonally.
Yeah, diagonal obviously does more damage because more time in hitbox, but it's also more challenging strat. So well, anything else comes down to consistency. If you can't get the fastest strat consistently, sometimes it just behooves you to go for the slightly slower but more reliable strat, depending on how good you're feeling and stuff.
Sequence activated. Destination planet 388.
Paul's more pulling out the math. Yes, very good. It's a 45-45-90 triangle, so the hypotenuse is in fact radical 2 longer than the sides. I'm very proud of you.
Whose hippo is loose?
The neighbors. It's very loud. But Phazon on his way to the Omega Metroid. Let's see if he can get that low height Shine Spark now.
I hope he does Pogo.
Oh yes. Have we seen Pogo in a race yet? Because if we have, it hasn't been one of the ones I've seen.
We've seen an attempt at it.
And oops, that was unfortunate Shine Spark. And wait, oh.
Ah, no.
Aw.
What a shame. His run is now invalidated.
If we invalidated everyone that didn't get Pogo, we would have just a bunch of losses on the bracket.
Oh, who won between Mandatoby and Phazon? Oh, they both lost.
Nobody.
Alright, so JC is in Sector 6. Hopefully he can deviate from the route and pick up the item that he forgot. Does not look that way. Maybe he'll clean this up. I'm hoping that he remembers. If that's what the chat's saying, though, like, I don't remember him picking up that item.
It sounds like the one he misses the one that's in the second room. But when he goes back through there, yeah, he has no reason to go back down there unless he specifically remembers that he forgot it. So this could be bad news for JC. Interesting, he goes for I usually don't see folks go for that one first. I usually see that's usually get a bit later during Sector 6 cleanup, but hey, just some variety.
Oh, JC tried to go for the high height, but I don't think it's high enough. He's
I
gonna
don't think so. Nope.
shines part right through all of this.
That's alright. Gets it no problem. But oops, I'm sorry, I almost forgot to mention that PhazonKnight has finished with an official SRL time of 1:57.41. GG to PhazonKnight. So now the question is, does that mean that he's going to have a 1:19 in-game time, since it's about 10 minutes behind Toby, or is it going to be something different?
It may very well be something different because we don't know how many door transitions both of the runners have been through. Extra door transitions, that is. So
It's true.
he may have something less than 10 minutes in game time if he had to take care of, puzzle rooms more than once.
Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. And everyone in chat, by all means, feel free to place your bets.
Yep, just remember, if you guess wrong, you are banned. And I will see you next mission.
Next mission, in this case, spelled Never.
I really hope that JC remembers, or at least checks his item completion before he gets the last one in main deck.
And we'll find out. He still has a little bit of time before he passes through that room. And it looks like Next Gen is double checking to make sure he has everything, and it looks like he does. Unless my eyes are failing me, which is always conceivable, because I spend a lot of time looking at computer screens. But with that, Next Gen is heading into the longest text cutscene, and JC is heading into the most annoying. Oh! Oh, I thought he was going to be going for intended strats for a moment there. No, he's dropping the power bomb.
Yeah, he forgot. His first power bomb was too low, so it didn't reveal the item.
What's he...
He's trying... JC, please. He's trying to do out of bounds glitch here. I don't know if he can. I don't know if it's possible.
I don't...
No, he gave up.
JC, please.
What he was trying to do there is something that is necessary for you to skip Bob in 0%.
Well, you know, since he does 0%, I mean, you figure if anyone's going to get that, be able to pull off this nonsense, it's JC, but it doesn't seem to want to work for him.
I don't think it's possible, though, because he doesn't have room to jump.
That's a fair point. Well, there he is, just kind of bumping around a bit.
Check Discord to see if any of the runners want to do an interview.
I haven't seen anyone jump into general yet. Usually, if
Oh,
they're ready,
wow.
that's where they go.
So it seems like that was intentional from JC. He just picks up that power bomb like when he was done trying to get the glitch. He's like, okay, I'm done with this, and just picks it up right away.
It's like, well, I'm done messing around. Time to get this absolutely free every time trick now.
Looks like he'll be going for a space boost here. Oh no, changes his mind.
Okay, hey, whatever works. Meanwhile, I guess Toby beat the game a second time because, I don't know, now he's just showing off.
Oops.
Oh, whoops,
Too far-
accidental world record.
He's too far to the left, JC.
Yes,
Closer
he
to the
is.
middle.
There you go, that should do it. Oh, guess not.
That's it.
Oh, he gets it, it's fine.
Meanwhile, Next Gen having a little bit of difficulty controlling SAX.
And like I mentioned, though, even with Gravity Suit, SAX does a lot of damage if you let it, so you can't be too sloppy in this fight. It will still kill you, even in 100%. It's like, oh, look at how much... Oh my gosh, look at how much damage those Ice Beam shots do. Thankfully, the screw attack in this game is overpowered and makes you invincible, but even with that, SAX is no joke.
So JC leaving Sector 6, I don't think he deviated the route to pick up that item that he missed, or so the chat said.
He did not. So if he did miss that tank, then JC is on his way to 99% town.
Getting that world record 99%.
Oh, Scotty says that he did remember,
Oh, okay, good.
which means either he actually remembered or he saw it in chat. Take your pick.
And now he's going to have to navigate through Crumble City.
And okay, we good.
What is up with these runners and these easy one-frame tricks that they're doing?
They're just playing at a high level. I don't know what to tell you.
JC taking that shortcut through crumble blocks. I don't know if that's a shortcut, but it looks like it.
Well, if it isn't Mandatoby, GG.
Congratulations, Mandatoby. How do you feel about the race? And he's not ready to talk.
I couldn't have said it better myself. But hey, and it's PhazonKnight.
That was okay.
I didn't even ask my question, but you already answered it. That's skillful right there.
What was your question then?
Don't worry, you answered it.
Question was, what do you think about Jello and almonds in it? And you answered it was okay.
Jello.
Next Gen does not attempt to pogo.
Oh,
So
there's Toby.
Hello.
Hey, congratulations, Toby, on that world record 103. How do you feel?
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I'm glad I finally got it. Like hours of grinding to it. No, I just tuned into the stream at the end, and I saw that I was quite ahead. Yeah, so I decided to mess around a bit because I lately got this debug ROM, and it's pretty cool. Yeah. So, but the race went actually quite well. I think at least like everything up to cleanup, and then cleanup was a bit not so good, but still a nice time in the end.
Yeah, you had pretty good movement early on. At one point, you were like miles ahead of the other three racers. So, I mean,
Like, more than 2 sectors ahead.
yeah, you were
Wow.
fighting bosses while the others were fighting the earlier bosses.
All right, and Next Gen is finished with a SRL time of 2:06:29, winning his race. GG Next Gen, and he couldn't even wait. He's already in here.
So what happened to JC? Like he's quite far behind, but I thought he's actually a decent hunter runner.
died,
Ask Pulsemore what happened to
Baltimore, yeah. he'll show you. Actually, watch chat right now. I'm sure he'll be more than happy to show you.
Baltimore, could you help me out here?
No, but JC was running into a lot of things in Sector 2, and then that happened, which Paul's more graciously linked for you to enjoy.
Okay, give me a second. JC was 1,000 degree.
That's a pretty great name, actually.
Oh, he said, okay. Oh, 5 HP, that doesn't look good.
All right, and Scotty doing exactly as I asked. Thank you, Scotty, keeping track of how many times Paul's more linked that clip during the race.
I want to make a montage of everyone dying in the races.
Oh wow, that pancake.
Well, yeah, I mean, we can do that at the very end. We can set it up like right before the final race, then finish it off with the montage of everyone dying.
Or we can do like a Samus kill count for every enemy in this game.
Yeah, no, once we get out of the Swiss round, that should be definitely something we can pair for the finals, just to have a nice little something, especially if it ends up going into. Is it going to be double elimination once we get to the elimination rounds?
Single elimination.
Okay.
Scotty also died once to SAX. Mickey died to... What did he die to? SAX?
SAX.
A lot of people died to SAX.
So what happened to JC? I have to ask. Because, like, how did I win that? Is my question, I guess.
What happened to JC? Hey, Paulsmore.
JC died very early on in Sector 2 against the Pancake.
Okay.
His health was very low, and those I can't actually laugh too much because I have actually had a run where I died to the pancakes as well. Because when your health is low, those things do more damage than you think.
Dude, I completely panicked when I forgot water missile for like a split second in Sector 2 cleanup.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, I shouldn't be going to the Zosby area yet. I forgot something.
But you remembered. And that's what matters.
See, that's why, like, whenever it happened, I knew I didn't get water missile. I knew right away what I was missing, so that kind of helped me out. Like, I was just trying to remember where it was at.
Yeah, it would have been a pain if you didn't remember what you forgot and had to go all around the station trying to find it.
Well, if you notice, I paused at the end of every sector to make sure I got everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, in a race, that's totally valid, because better to do that and get the thing than finish first and only have it turn out you just got 99%, you know?
So did JC also restart his timer, or is this still his original time?
No, he did
restarted his
restart.
timer.
Okay, because I was like, man, isn't he playing on English? This looks like a pretty good time, considering that he died. But okay, makes sense, I guess.
No, you were actually worried for a moment there, because when he stopped his timer for set to 0, we're like, oh no, is he going to forfeit? Then he started over, like, okay.
Yeah, he got this. No, I don't think he's the guy to forfeit from a race. Like,
Especially not that early on. I mean, it would have been like 45 minutes in. That might have been just about, what, 17 minutes in? No, you hit the ground running and start over.
yeah.
All right, everyone, want to take a stab at next gen's time? You only have 5 seconds. Yes.
Oh,
Time.
118.
120.
It's a 125.
All right. Meanwhile, JC talking to Adam one last time.
One last very long time. Oh boy.
Blah 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 blah. Has anyone ever bothered to read through this text? What does he actually say? Like a
I
pancake.
try.
recipe.
Pancake recipe.
Yes, something. I'm sorry, I shot you another M. Blah blah.
I wonder. I must be some kind of like fortune teller or something, because I had Waffle House just before during the race, and as soon as I finished eating my waffles, JC dies to a pancake. Isn't that something?
They heard you mention Waffle House, and they got so angry that you were eating waffles instead of pancakes. They took it out on poor JC. I hope you're happy.
Yeah, because I remember it was Sector 2, and I was like, all right, I'm done eating. Time to help commentate. And then JC dies to a pancake.
Oh, that's so mean.
Yeah, but in any case, JC that's less than 5 minutes away from finishing here. He just has to go up, take care of the sacks, and then go down and then make the Omega Pogo, because if he does that, then we will take back maybe half the mean things you said about him in this race. Maybe.
Yeah, I guess we'll go overestimate if he decides to just time out on Pogo. You can't do that.
Let me just double check. I don't think is there anything happening immediately after this one? Yes. We're actually overlapping to the LADX tournament, which I'm also participating in, as it turns out. But so I'm not sure what Phazon wants to do here.
15 minutes. Well, it's only the fight left, the escape, and then the Omega fight. So.
Okay, so I guess if anything, we can once he gets beamed into the ship, that's the end of SRL timing, and we can switch over. That's probably yeah, that's what we're gonna be doing based on what. So that's what we're gonna be doing. Yeah,
Ooh,
because
lots of shots there.
because the schedule on Speed Gaming 2 is actually wall to wall from now all the way through. Looks like 2 in the morning.
Whoa.
Yeah, you got that Final Fantasy randomizer after the 2 LADXs.
Yep.
and on Speed Gaming 1, a bunch of Metroid randos, and then CV4 and Final Fantasy randomizer. So it's a really good day. Labor Day weekend, a lot of speed racing going on.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And if you haven't gotten tired of me, stick around for that 6:30 LADX race, because I'm going to be talking over that one, too.
Don't want to miss that. Make sure to tune in. I'll be asleep by then, so I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that one's going to be a good one. That's actually going to be a race between Stanter and TGH, both spectacularly good LADX runners, and TGH being the standing world record holder.
Well,
So
they're playing Link.
Link's
So-
Awakening DX, no save, quit, wrong warp, or out of bounds, and even though it's allotted an hour and a half, both of them are sub-hour players. That's going to be a quick but very good race.
So, Mike, I have a question. In the entire Zelda universe, who is your favorite character, and why is it Navi?
I'm sorry, I think you mispronounced Tingle. JC getting the high shine spark there.
High low. Ooh, that was high. Now you can pogo.
Come on,
Please,
JC,
Pogo.
please.
Please,
Yeah.
Pogo.
Come on. Oh,
Oh, come on.
disappoint.
Listen.
All right, but no, we're on the home stretch here to see if JC can get the quick kill, and once he does and beams up, then we will be handing it over.
2 minutes to destination.
Yeah, Zelda is my favorite character. He shoots beams from his sword, and he doesn't afraid.
Oh,
He's
oh,
got that
oh,
fancy green hand.
and Omega quick kill ain't no thing.
All right. Congratulations to all the runners.
JC finishing with an SRL time of 2:16.34. Spoiler alert, he finishes here in a moment. But that wraps it up for our fusion races today. We have GG's to our winners of their respective races, Toby and Next Gen Gamer.
Thanks.
And we're not going to be sticking around to see JC's in-game time. We assure you it's a fantastic time. But everyone who's joined us, thank you very much for watching. We're going to be handing it over right now to LADX because we've been holding it up for too long.
See everyone.
Yep. Thanks everyone for watching. Stick around for some LADX action, followed by some Final Fantasy action. And I'll see you next time.
See you next mission, folks.